stuck with a wonderful lineup of incredible players as we are here to bring you home. Fellas, we've seen fine fits. Fellas, we've seen broken fight sticks. Fellas, it is time to see all of this to the very end. My name is Nutroast. I'm joined by the incredible, the irreplaceable Celery Man.
Oh, Celery Man, oh yes. Konbanwa, minasan, of course. We're running straight in. It's Peli Azalea. And as you say, this might be a finale in some sense of Ultimate, at least from the Team Regen side for the foreseeable. But we're certainly going to go out with a bang. It's Peli versus Azalea. And I have to say, it feels like this is a bit of old, bit of new, because, of course, Peli been out of the game a little bit, both literally and figuratively, for a while. I think these two used to be in the same region, and they played a long time ago. I'm talking many moons ago.
Absolutely. Azalea, wonderful that you mentioned, has been this player that has been kind of a rising star for quite a long time. There's been some wonderful upsets, some incredible peaks, but there's never been a consistency at that level. And so we've always waited to see that this potential, especially with the regard that EOE is held in. And so this could be an incredible opportunity for them to dethrone a long-time force and a long-time king in the face of Peli, or Peli, irregardless, could oversee that and just prove themselves to be an indomitable force. I'm not sure how you're feeling in this set there, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, look, Peli, I think, previously has been the favorite in this sort of set, in this sort of matchup, and starting off again in his favor so far. But I feel like these two players, they're approaching each other in a different stage of their proverbial career, let's say. Peli, a little bit more on the back burner, and as you say, Azalea's been a bit of a rising star, but I think he's been rising and rising and rising. Meanwhile, Peli's been taking a bit of time off, so it's interesting to see. Will Peli be meeting someone new and improved as they fight up? But here we got 164, and I gotta say, if you're gonna SD or basically die in that fashion, make it a 164. Right. You don't need to do that SDing at like 80%. Make sure you're gonna die anyway, basically.
Because that's a good death. You can.
That's
you
a
can
solid
say, hey,
death.
that's
I'd take
efficient.
that.
That's efficient.
I lived a good life, man. I lived a good life. 164.
Exactly. You've seen it all at that
old
point.
age, man.
You're damn right. As now we're in that comfort zone. Look, at this point we've come so far in Smash history that we're going to sound like broken records, Michael. You find Sonic, you find him in this position, and it's a lovely place to exist, and you've got a wonderfully enormous stage to exist, to camp, to hold your ground in, and now you've got a
wonderfully enormous.
And now you're just waiting, understanding that Azalea is now the one who has to make these proactive plays, who has to make these unexpected choices to try and catch them off guard. But do you ever get that feeling of deja vu, Moke?
Yeah, I gotta say, that's two of the up Bs. Aiming for ledge, not quite reaching it there from Azalea. And yeah, Peli looking here really strong. Picking up pretty much where he left off. As I say, I'm not 100% sure of the set history between these two, but as I say, it was so long ago, it feels like these are two new players. And here we go. Okay, finally, Azalea answering back. Fragile is the name.
It's very interesting, and I run the risk of sounding quite cruel here when I say this.
I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this.
Which is, I've always found Azalea very inconsistent, and I think that could be used to an advantage, because it means that while they don't have this consistent power, this consistent strength, that means they're a constant threat, it means they can always catch you off guard, it means they can always have these comebacks, it means they're unpredictable, and I think Peli can't afford to count that out. Alas, they have pushed it, and they've proven me wrong, but that's one game out of potential 5 there, Saru, man. So,
yeah, I have to say, Peli coming into this tournament, kind of a weird story, because we know he's been on the back burner for a while. I think there was some interesting conversations to how far he would get in this tournament at all. I even heard there was some whispers of, is Peli even going to make top 5? Is he even going to get to top 8? Well, he's been out of the game for so long, and you see that 2 stock, barely a scratch on him on that 2nd stock as well.
Well, it's a fascinating run for Peli. I'm sure many of those of you who have been taking to Twitter and watching some of the more internal conversations, some of the inner circle, may be aware. Peli's taken a very fascinating run in the sense that most of their run has taken the form of fighting players who have upset a different player.
Yeah.
And I want to say maybe 3 or 4 of those in a row. And so Peli has really not played anyone they were projected to play, not played any of the threats they expected. And while obviously those wins from those said players were deserved, it means Peli has had quite an interesting run of underdogs that they've just slain getting up to this point.
Yeah, I think Peli, of a player, and Sonic as a character, can be quite good at slaying those sort of players, because you think about it, they get that sort of maybe 1 or 2 big breakout wins, maybe they kind of make that big upset, but doing it consistently, look, a broken clock can be right twice a day, and I've seen Azalea's clock be right more than twice, but equally, I think that's what Peli's maybe ridden off so far, but also, I think I saw that first game against Lugi, maybe we see a rematch of that later on if Peli can bring it back. but Peli was doing really well, and then Lugi sort of turned up the gears. So we know what Peli's capable of. We know what Azalea's capable of. I've seen Azalea fight earlier, the punish game against characters like Donkey Kong, but Donkey Kong, he's a big boy, whereas Sonic, a small hedgehog, and a bit harder to kind of do those absolutely outrageous combos, especially when Peli is playing such an impressive defensive game. But so far, a lot better from Azalea so far.
Absolutely. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's see what Azalea is doing to claw back a win or claw an upset out of this potential match. Obviously, seeding may not tell you the whole story. So Azalea now on a slightly more advantageous stage in terms of the blast zones, I think, against Sonic. It's a little bit up to interpretation based on how you play this character, but it's mostly about the same stick. As we are buying a little bit of space, we're using that patience against Peli in this sense, firing a couple of lasers and trying to either bait an option or just download some data. I think with time on your side, with the fact that Peli is willing to play so patient, that's one wonderful weakness you can capitalize on. You can hold your ground, you can figure out what options they're favoring in that moment, maybe not in the entire set, and then you can find a counter. It's exhausting because you have to download information, react to it, because a caliber of player such as Peli is so adaptive on the fly, but if you can find those moments of brilliance and you can stay one step ahead, you can earn yourself a lead, which is where you want to be, but maybe not for long. My dear Moke, maybe not for long.
Yeah, Peli breakdancing on him right there. Yeah, that is the life. You fight Sonic and it's like, yes, I've got the lead, yes, he has to approach me. And then it was about 5 seconds. And he was straight in the blast zone himself. But look, I think Azalea and Falco, known both for their punish game, for those kind of crazy 0 to death, those sort of 90% combos. And that can still happen against a character like Sonic, but equally, I think the test for Azalea is going to be in this sort of neutral. And Azalea has so far, you've seen, if Peli's going to be spinning in the corner, just fire that laser. You know, shoot the gun. It's like a little bit of chip damage, but you've got to, of course, be careful of that invulnerable spin dash. Doing a little bit. Here we go, Azalea back with the punish game, looking stronger now. Ledge trap situation. But Peli pressing some buttons in the corner, and it's working out for him.
I just find Peli so hard to corner when he gets when he's in those sort of like get up scenarios. It's so hard to find a punishment. My goodness, speaking of which, that's okay. You just bait him into the center and you can find an auto combo. That Falco classic. You've got to use your strengths as we are into a bit of a string here.
Oh,
a wonderful, wonderful little bit of percent coming out from Azalea, and I think they're feeling confident, but could be snatched away at any moment, Moke.
Yeah, that is it. I think Azalea playing with confidence, that's definitely the word I'd use. They were holding forward and pressing buttons, and sometimes, even though Sonic's got that good defensive game, you know, Falco's got some good buttons of his own, I have to say.
Certainly does, certainly does. You can never count them out as we are back to this kind of interesting neutral scenario where they're both taking space, finding an opening. Ooh. As that back air going to beat him out as a little bit of a dirty off-stage scenario. The back air comes through and look, don't let the percentage lie. Frankly, I think this is looking a little even right now.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, look, Azalea's had a few times already this set, particularly that first game where recovery was a problem. So even at this low percent, Peli's really good at edge guarding a lot of different characters in this game. And I feel like he could take his time. He's at 124, but look, you have to finish your food. And that might be a chance for Peli to get a reversal edge guard. But he's going to have to recover first, and Azalea going pretty aggressive there, but now holding the ledge.
Not a whole lot of options for Azalea forcing off the ledge there. You can go deep for a forward air if they go high, or you can go for a spike, but that's about it. Most of the time you're just holding stage, but again, like I mentioned, Peli so confident at returning. Got a bit of a string here, a bit of a trade, but it's slowly climbing. 168, and at this point, it's just sauce over the roast, mate. There's no extra damage. There's no extra opportunity that's going to be caused by rising this percent with lasers.
Oh no,
You've got to finish it. You've got to finish it soon, or else Peli's going to find a way in. Trapped on the platform, trying to find a way back into neutral as we are holding center stage. Peli staying nice and patient. 2 minutes on the clock, forces them off. There's the forward rage! Burning hatred, burning anger as that extra bit of damage just forces Azalea out. Insane reversal, and that's a heartbreaker.
That is a heartbreaker. Look, Azalea was basically got Peli to max rage. It was 170. And Azalea realized, look, I have the percent lead, even if it's a big one. I don't have to force anything here. And Azalea was happy to sit in the corner, pew, 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 fire the lasers, looking a bit like Melee. But then, at the same time, you still have to commit a little bit. And it felt like Peli was sort of taking his time, trying to find an opening. Did find one. And that max rage, the little spin into the forward air was enough. And that is a heartbreaker there for Azalea. Because that's the difference between the set being 1-1, even Stevens, and now Azalea has to do a reverse 3-0. To win this, and that is night and day as far as I'm concerned.
Tournament life for 3 separate games. What does that composure even look like, Michael?
It's tricky, but having said that, Azalea so far starting this third game with a bit of kind of an aggressive presence. I think I saw a jump I saw a jump loss there from Peli. Unanswered so far, 105 and rising.
Look, I asked you what that composure could look like, and frankly, what an incredible opener coming out from Azalea. I've seen quite a lot of these this tournament, just players, frankly, for lack of a better term, locking in, refusing to suffer, refusing to succumb to destiny, some would say, as that back air could have ended it, but it's not quite going to find it. As you can see, Azalea confident in holding center stage, just enough distance to be able to engage, just enough distance not to allow Peli freedom of movement, and that's an opening gambit, that's a first stock, that's a comfortable area for Azalea.
Yeah, that is what Azalea wanted in that last game. And again, it's about sort of pressing the advantage and going for that final killing blow, but we've got another offstage situation. Wall jump, Peli very patient there, not trying to push anything. Resets to neutral, and finally, Azalea's managed to get a stock lead that's lasted for more than 5 seconds.
It's about goddamn time, my dear Michael, as we are still trying to hold center stage. Take a look at Azalea's positioning here. Very deliberate, very intense, and very difficult for Peli to overcome. You can see they have to get quite creative with these platforms, trying to mix up this verticality and, frankly, the horizontal engagement options, and it's just not working. Azalea's got their number!
Yeah, Azalea's really catching on now to Peli's ability to land back to the stage. And Peli cannot get back to the stage at all, it looks like. Well, simply look like an SD there, I think. I'm not sure.
Frankly, starting to lose our composure, I may say, as finally we get to answer back. But you can see Azalea holding space very well, more than happy to counter these engagers. Frankly, Peli's now the one who has to readapt, or they will perish in this reversal. Azalea being very comfortable right now as we do get the burst option from the dash attack. Peli playing a little bit closer right now as the lasers are just mixing up their engages a bit.
Yeah, Peli sort of has to try and force the issue now. In that previous game, there was, of course, that sort of Hail Mary option with the max rage, but there's a whole stock to play with here from Azalea. The percent lead is getting better for Peli here, but look, Azalea can get sort of more of the chip damage. I see some more lasers coming in. It does feel like, I was going to say it might be a matter of time if Azalea can just kind of play pretty solid, but it's looking dicey here on the ledge.
A menace on that ledge, isn't he, mate? Jesus Christ. Absolute brutalization, but you can still hold on that 117.
And again, yeah, that kill convert's been doing so much work. Peli, we're talking about finishing your food. I think Peli's been doing that very well so far this set. And Azalea, it feels like only 60%. It is rising, but a lead's a lead. We saw how quickly it slipped away in the last game.
You just can't lose focus for a second. It's just so difficult as tries to get the jump read. There's the up tilt, forces up a double jump out of Peli to keep them safe. Resets back to the platform as we're keeping the pressure on from Azalea. Can't quite find that positioning, just throwing out options, trying to predict. There's got to be one that connects. There's got to be one that locks in, finds you an advantage, but it's Peli who is on the aggression right now. More confident at the ledge, more confident in the plays. Azalea just has to find a crack in the armor, and I just don't know if it's coming, Moke.
Yeah, it's a similar situation to the previous game, but it does feel, I was going to say slightly more in Azalea's favor. I feel like there's more composure from them right now. But then again, it feels like a bit of Groundhog Day. And you see that double jump, a slight panic from Azalea. Fishing here, that up smash. Just please, can this game end? Please just die, man. I felt that.
Don't lose it as Peli trying to find another engage angle, retreating back to the center. But we're still throwing out moves. We're still looking for a kill. Again, things are getting a little bit antsy, and that could be Azalea's downfall as Peli more than happy to chill out. Retreat back to the platform. There's the up air, sends them out. Can we find an edge guard here? Can we find a ledge trap? Just not possible.
No. Oh no. Okay, yeah, Peli there trying to bet it all. Kind of had to some extent. Oh, the F tilts. No way. Oh my gosh.
The dash. That's what we like to see. Trying to predict. Back to center. Back to center. What can we see? The final frame, but it's just not enough, Moke. As we fail it, there's no grab. There's no punish. We're back into a last chance scenario. Do or die. Where are we going, Moke?
Please, Azalea, finish your goddamn food. It's looking difficult here. Offstage situation.
There's
the untechable.
Nothing you can do.
That is the kind of set you go up to the TO and you say it was a 3-0 but close. That's what
it was a 3-0 but close. My goodness, that last set, absolute nail biter.
That's a heartbreaker. That is a heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker, man. Heartbreaker.
It felt like there was a moment I was like, okay, Azalea's probably going to clutch it out this time, because I think we realized, okay, no freebies. No freebies. That's easier said than done when you're playing against Sonic.
Absolutely.
But you've got to give just no chances for any sort of weird reversals. There was some weird kind of hurtbox shifting where I think Azalea stuck out